Well, hey there, good looking. Good to see you. I know it's been a couple of weeks. Wholeheartedly my fault. However, Tom and I are here. Have no fear. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk about Backlash and AJ Styles versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes' first televised title defense, as Michael Cole so eloquently kept putting it. Um, and some other things happened on Backlash too. Obviously, it was pretty decent show. Can't wait to dive into that. We're gonna talk about AEW, the product as a whole, what's good, what's bad, what's working, what's not. I don't know. We'll see what else Tom and I got to talk about. See what happens. We're glad you're here with us, though.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
I almost feel like that doesn't do the same these days, right? Like,
what?
Yeah, it's just it's weird. They're building this. They're assembling the Avengers for the Civil War here, bro.
Say, are you not into what's going on right now for the Bloodline? Because this is.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not? Because I don't know about you, but I'm I'm like.
No, man, it's been good, and I mean, Jacob Fatu is still allegedly signed, and we're just waiting for that. And then we got, what was it, Tangaloa?
Tangaloa, yeah.
So hey, man,
we got Tama Tonga, who, by the way, looks unbelievable, right? Like the dude looks like he's a shredded action figure. He looks like he's made of steel right now. And I know he's always looked like, but he looks like he's made of steel. He looks like they signed him and they just paid him big money and they were like, just work out, big dog. Do you. And he just looks unbelievably jacked.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that look unbelievably jacked right now. AJ Styles continues to look like he ate AJ Styles.
He did.
And he looks great. Like, what a
AJ
fucking
looks
match
like he's
that
10
was.
years younger.
Can't wait to talk about that. I cannot wait to dive into that. But I mean, the bloodline, the metamorphosis of the bloodline, it's funny because, we all had a field day whenever Paul Heyman said, hey, man, we're in the bottom of the third inning. And that was like 6 months ago. And we were like, good God, man. Like, what is there left to do? It's like, this has been so dope for so long.
Yeah.
What could there possibly be left to do?
I'm so into whatever this new iteration. If we're at the top of the fourth right now or whatever, I'm so into this new iteration. Like as this is like coming out and things are happening, I'm like, like I just sit there and smile, like, oh my god. I'm like marking out a little bit. Like I've always kind of liked Tama Tonga because. But I've seen much of Tangaloa. I guess just because he's not as exposed anyway. Like Tama Tonga was obviously was a big deal in New Japan, and Tangaloa wasn't really.
Well, I mean, Tangaloa missed his cue on his debut there. I don't know if you've seen the reverse camera angle. The ref saved the day, along with WWE production folks.
Yeah, I've seen that he missed his cue, but I didn't notice it when I watched it live. Or when I was watching it, I didn't notice it.
And I think that's a credit to the referee who knew his spot. I think that's a credit to WWE production team headed by one Mr. Lee Fittings. I saw a TikTok today, and I almost sent it in the group, but I didn't. And it was Sami Zayn's last Intercontinental Championship run versus Sami Zayn's new Intercontinental Championship run, and it was entrance video. It was videos of his entrance. And on one side, you had Kevin Dunn's face, and on the other side, you had Lee Fittings' face. And during Sami Zayn's entrance, there were 27 camera cuts under Kevin Dunn, and there were 6 under Lee Fitting.
So another thing, if you want to point out, particularly with their last European run, that they're just, I think they're back in America tonight, I believe. But the Jey Uso, he has also been a beneficiary of the change in editing, because they got some shots of the crowd. Oh my god! Oh my god!
He's
like with the 4K camera,
now,
like with the 4K camera getting the depth. Oh my god!
I'm almost surprised, and we'll get into this, but I am almost surprised that he didn't beat Damian Priest.
I think that it's still a little bit too soon for that, and I think that's the only reason he didn't. I know, and look, I don't like that as much as you don't like it either, but I know that's why they didn't do it. Because it's just too soon, and maybe he will beat Damian Priest, and maybe he'll still be the one to beat him. I don't think Priest's title reign is meant to be incredibly long, or at least not this one. They may trade titles back and forth, kind of like Drew and Bobby Lashley did a little bit during the pandemic. But I think with Damian Priest being the, I guess, third ever heavyweight champion, at least in this iteration of the heavyweight titles run, they didn't want to have Seth's one long reign and then a 5-minute reign and a 2-week reign. You know what I mean? Well, not 2 weeks, but a month, but still.
I mean, it's just a matter of time until they put that thing on Jey Uso, and I mean, clearly we're getting close to CM Punk returning to kind of make ends meet with this Drew McIntyre thing. Signed a fresh, right now. Shiny contract.
Well, Punk's in the ring right now. They're in the XL Center. Where's the XL Center? Anyway, Punk's in the ring right now, so we're watching this so it's happening. And Triple H said, if you liked it what we just did, wait till you see what's coming. I mean, it's must-watch TV now. It really is. They got Pat McAfee back on. Pat McAfee on Monday nights. I love Pat McAfee on Mondays. Like this is as good as Raw has been since before they did the draft, before like 1998. This is as good as Raw has been since then. Like this is as good as it's been in 25 years.
I would agree with that.
WWE has not been this good since the late 90s.
I mean, this is definitely,
and there's less cheap shit going on too. Like when we were kids, and I know we appreciated it a lot better as 14-year-old boys. But we're not out here in the evening gown matches doing the mud mat. Not 14-year-old me loved that, but this is like just prime good television is what it is. So I appreciate that. As a grown man with as an adult with small children who want to watch with me. So it's really like kind of the best it could be, in my opinion.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like it really is pretty awesome.
Even NXT. I mean, I don't know how much NXT you've been watching, but NXT's been tremendous.
I've not been watching too much NXT. It's just not really fit into my life these days.
I get that, but it's been
uh,
NXT has been also like with just so it's not what it was during like the Adam Cole era heyday, but it's like it's getting to that like kind of post indie level of like, okay, these guys are the next big thing. They're gonna make mistakes and they're gonna let them make mistakes. It's not as polished as like the Adam Cole era
baby.
was, baby, but it's really good, and it's they've got something there, and everybody in NXT seems really excited, and I think it's easy to get caught up in that excitement of like that fresh new kind of thing right now. So
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely.
what. So I'm really kind of like Monday, Tuesday is really like, no, I'm busy. I got wrestling to watch, kind of a thing, which is good because I'm going to Disney next week, and my pocketbook is my wallet is like, ow, you just paid for Disney World. Which
Yeah, I
did.
feel that coming off of my recent work conference, and um, had to put the old swiper down for a little while because that thing was hot.
Yeah, I'm coming up on we leave Tuesday morning, so I can do this. But we
Yeah,
leave
so it's
next week.
funny. I couldn't figure out why I had a vacation penciled in on my schedule for this upcoming week, and now I remember.
But yeah, I'll be it's cool. We leave Tuesday morning. We could do this, and I'm gonna go right to bed, and I'm gonna pop up at like 5 in the morning, drag everybody so we can get to the airport at 6, and then we're gonna fly, and I'm gonna give Mickey my credit card and be like, "Here, Mickey Mouse, you bastard."
Oh, thanks, Tom.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
You're just swell, pal.
Oh, is this the high limit one? What's good?
Why don't you go try to take my sword out of that stone, bitch?
Only $10,000. So, true story. Damien and I, the last time we were there, like Evie was riding the carousel, and that's where that is. It's right outside of the carousel. So Damien was like, I don't want to ride the stupid ass carousel. I'm like, well, let's go try to pull the sword out of the stone. He and I were like, because you can't get it out. Like it's in there. So he and I were trying the whole time she's riding this thing. As soon as she gets off and we start walking away, they walk up and do their little parade thing because somebody paid for it. And like some little kid pulls the sword out. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I was just pulling that thing. It's bullshit. So
Yeah, we tried to do it when we were down there. We tried to do it at like 10:30 at night. Um, and I was a little.
couple
I
sheets of the
had
wind.
one too many mouse cocktails. If you're
Mouse cocktails.
mouse cocktails.
Mouse
Yeah.
cocktails. Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. It was a good time. It was a good time. I'm excited to go back with the family eventually.
We'll be
So
there. We'll be there next week. I'm very excited about it, but also like my wallet's not excited, but it's gonna be good. I won't regret it.
you'll have a great time, pal.
Just money. Fuck money.
Listen, it'll be awesome. All right.
I know.
It might not be the fat chick thriller, Mike awesome, but it'll be awesome.
Do love me, Mike Awesome. So I wanted to talk about him. How underrated.
Jesus Christ.
Mike Awesome was the most underrated wrestler of all time.
Why? Because he came out to the ring with 50-something fat chicks?
I mean, he routinely came out with like 2 or 3. I loved the fat chick Thriller gimmick. Loved that gimmick. That was my favorite gimmick in WCW at the time. He was tremendous in ECW. Like he was awesome in ECW with the full mullet. He had the best mullet. It was like him
Better
and
than
Rick
Eddie
Rude.
Guerrero's? I think not, sir.
Now him, Rick Rude, and Eddie Guerrero, top 3 mullets.
I don't know. Dominic Mysterio is he's knocking on the door.
He's a number
Especially
4.
now that he's got the Dirty Sanchez going on.
He can be number 4, and that's fine. But 1, 2, 3 was I mean, it was Rick Rude, and then Mike Awesome and Eddie. I feel like they're right there. So But yeah, Mike Awesome. Man, the most underrated, I think, in my opinion, most underrated wrestler of all time. Guy should have been a constant European Intercontinental Champion. Just God, it got every gimmick over, even the dumbest shit. Got it over. Fat Chick Thrilla. Oh my God. Loved it. Loved it. Hilarious. Not only was it hilarious, he was like all the way in. Like he was face for he ate it up. And he looked like $1,000,000. Dude was like 6'6", like 280. Unbelievable. Today he would be the biggest star in the business.
I mean, he was fucking properly jocked. I mean,
would have been the biggest star in the business today. R.I.P. Mike Awesome. You were awesome. Cheers to Mike Awesome.
Cheers to Mike Awesome. Hey, so I got to ask you a very, very serious question.
Okay. I got to give you a semi-serious answer.
Okay. When was the last time you felt the need to click to a Warner Brothers Discovery Network on a Wednesday, a Friday, or a Saturday?
It's been a few months.
I got a whole lot of unwatched AEW in my DVR.
Honestly, it's hard for me to complain about it. I know what's happened via the internet, but like, no, you know what? I'll tell you what. I turned it on about 3 weeks ago. I turned on a Dynamite about 3 weeks ago, and I watched about an hour of it. And I went, wow, this is it. You know what? It was right after WrestleMania. We watched Wednesday night after WrestleMania. So I guess it's been about a month. And we shut it off after an hour because we had just seen WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And the Raw after WrestleMania. And I turned that, and it was amateur hour. Botches galore. Bad matches that seemed cold. I didn't know why anybody was fighting. Nobody seemed to give a shit why they were fighting. Don Callis was the manager of a babyface in a heel stable. Why is Will Ospreay in the Don Callis stable?
Maybe because he talks like this, bruv.
Because somebody needs to talk for him, bruv. He's got marbles all in his mouth, bruv. With Triple H coming out and telling me I don't want to
work. They're grinding on his daughter, the boss's daughter, bruv.
I mean,
I'm going to go out here and dump Bryan Danielson on his head, bruv.
What the fuck is going on over there? Like,
I mean, Bryan Danielson's dead.
He might be dead.
He's
apparently
dead.
They had the best match of all time. I didn't actually watch.
I didn't know how they had the best match of all time when halfway through it, Bryan Danielson got dumped on his fucking head.
I'm just telling you what the internet told me. I didn't watch it. I mean, maybe Bryan Danielson's dead. Did he wrestle the rest of the match dead? Oh, speaking of people that are dead, okay, we got to talk about Ric Flair later. But woo. He's not dead, but apparently he was for a minute there. But no, I don't know, man.
Are you? Is that new development?
Yeah. So apparently today he came out and said that he found out that he had a heart attack in the ring during his final match.
Yeah, you don't say.
Well, I mean, but he apparently recovered. Yeah, that's what it wasn't that he fell asleep. He had a heart attack. And then he finished the match, which is cool. But
I mean, that sounds like a work.
It sounds like Rick making shit up, to be honest. Because he said, "Oh, I didn't find out till a month later when I went to the doctor." Like, okay. But back to AEW. No, it just doesn't feel like we're worth it. It feels like every time I actually put it on that I've actually wasted my time and that they've tried to waste my time. And I get really frustrated with that because I don't have a lot of time. And I know you don't either. We live in the same, reality where we don't have a lot of time. We work really hard. We work a lot. We have kids. Kids have stuff to do. We're very involved, good fathers. and we take our time very
I'm
seriously.
average at best, pal.
Okay, but still, we take our time very seriously. Even as average at best, we take our time very seriously. And I feel like when I turn on an AEW show, within the hour of me turning it on, I regret it. And I don't know if you feel the same way, or maybe you just haven't watched it at all. Maybe you haven't. Maybe your optimism. I'm sure your optimism level is much lower than mine. So like sometimes I'm like, let's just watch some wrestling. It's gonna be good. And I feel like the less I watch AEW, the harder it is to watch AEW, because once you get like.
So I agree wholeheartedly with that statement, right? And then it's like, for a long time, right? As Derek used to defend them wholeheartedly, and then his positivity started to wane, I started to see some good in the product, right? And they had my attention, and they were must-watch TV for me every single week, because I thought that they had found some legs to stand on, and I wanted to see them start to walk and then start to run, right? And it turns out that those legs that we found were like giant 12-inch rubber dildos that we managed to have propped the product up on in some way, shape, or form for it to stay tall for a little while.
Sting was one of those dildos.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. But it was just, and for all the good that happened, there was twice as much bad, right?
Yeah.
And like we still come in here every week, and we would still talk about, they're doing this, but this is just right.
Yeah.
And from what the internet tells me, because I myself have not picked up the remote and clicked the old elite of all wrestling friends in quite some time, that things are getting better. I don't tend to think that that's believable, especially when Uncle Dave's openly just giving them the Meltzer business. Week in and week out in ways that only Dave could put a company over while still somehow trying to put them down. I just don't.
One of what Dave had said was something to the tune of like, well, if they get a deal, they're okay, but if they don't get a deal, they're dead and they're done and blah blah blah. However he put it, it sounded like one of those things where it was just like it was a like Schrodinger's cat argument that he was making. But it was almost like a bad like sports commentator of like, well, the team that doesn't lose is gonna win, and it's like, duh, yeah, great. I'm glad everybody subscribes to you to listen to you. Hey, you can hear us talk about this for free on YouTube almost every week, and the team who doesn't win is gonna lose, and the team who doesn't lose is gonna win. And if AEW gets a deal, they're going to have a deal. But if they don't, they're not. And they're not going to be on television.
I really feel like we're in a situation where we have to think that there might not be an AEW in the next 2 years.
I mean, I would be sad, because I feel like AEW is really good for wrestling as a whole. Right, like as something to watch, wrestling is good. Wrestling is better when there's competition per se. But maybe WWE post Vince McMahon, because maybe that's what I feel like we said it for everybody. Kind of said it for years, and we waffled back and forth, and it was like, yeah, but he built it up to be what it is today, and that was him, and blah blah blah. But at the same time, God, the product was so bad under him.
Oh, that's good shit, pal.
Right. Like at some point, like I feel like Vince McMahon had a stroke and he didn't tell anybody, but like it very, very much like shifted his. Like he took a bad bump.
Bruce. Do you smell that?
Yeah. It was like toast.
Are you making toast?
Yeah, boss, I'm making toast.
God damn it, pal. You know I don't like burnt toast.
And like Bruce was probably actually making toast. And that's probably why Vince didn't notice he had a stroke.
Yeah,
But at some point, like Vince had a stroke or something happened, and he like just went off the deep end. And the product that he put out there was just he had all the talent and all the money and all the prestige and everything, but he was like having the best wrestlers carry out fake swords and fucking like wouldn't let anybody get themselves over, only put the company over. Company was the evil empire, and like shit was bad, you know. They all came out and pointed and laughed and like, Baron Corbin, you made wrestling bad. And it was like, no, Baron Corbin didn't do this. This was you fuckers that did this. And
I mean, this is the same guy that put fucking Karrion Kross in a skirt and a gimp mask.
Exactly.
And had him lose in a fucking a squash match to Jeff fucking Hardy as the NXT champion.
Let's roll back to the Hardy thing. Jeff Hardy is still signed with AEW. However, Matt Hardy's contract has expired, and Matt Hardy now is broken in TNA again. So, what's going on there? Because like the Hardys did not get a proper AEW run, and I feel like that's what they were promised. And Jeff has basically been jobbing to people, and when he's around, and he hasn't been around since Matt. At least I don't think he's been around. I haven't seen him on a card since Matt left, which was about a month ago at this point. And what the fuck? Like, what? How do you fumble the Hardy Boys that hard? Like, how do you fumble that nostalgia? Like, you don't. You just have to parade them out and let them beat Private Party.
Yeah, man. I mean,
you don't have to do anything.
But they were a shiny new toy in Tony Khan's $1 million sandbox, and
let's call it $1 billion sandbox.
Okay, $1 billion.
I think we're there now. I think 5 years later we're there.
You know, so I think that this toy fucking broken.
I like what you did there. I like that. I like what you did there.
I mean, you could only throw a guy off of you can only have Sammy Guevara throw a guy off of a fucking scaffolding fucking 3 or 4 times before that's just diminishing returns. I mean,
yeah,
or throw a fucking or rocket launch a steel chair right at his fucking face.
I bet Jeff's drunk right now.
Or do a back or do a moonsault and fucking break somebody's fucking ribs. Sammy Guevara must really not like the Hardys. He must have been an Edge and Christian fan.
He must have been, because you know what? He definitely hurt both them motherfuckers like twice. Matt maybe 3 or 4 times. He hit Matt with a golf cart really hard.
Hey, what about Christian Cage at our very own Pittsburgh Steel City Con saying he don't give a fuck about the WWE Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't at this point. I mean, I don't know. He's a weird Canadian guy. But, like, I give a fuck. Like, I would like to see Christian in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, you know he wants to. He just didn't want to upset the boss.
I mean, he probably didn't want to upset the boss. He's honestly probably making as much as Edge for the first time in their careers. They're probably, like, they're probably, like, on the same pay level. Oh, I'm sorry. He and Adam. Jay and Adam are making the same amount of money. I'm sorry. Adam. Right. Edge would make more money, but Adam makes Christian money. I apologize. I caught my mistake. It's been a couple weeks. You have to forgive me. It's been a few weeks.
I mean, after all, Christian Cage is a Hall of Fame worthy talent that's going to be the biggest signing in AEW history.
It's true.
Too bad it only took 2.5 years for that to halfway pay off.
I mean, to be fair, he's been more entertaining than Kenny Omega was.
Yeah, well, Kenny Omega's been real entertaining on the old interwebs. That
sure has been.
Real entertaining on the interwebs.
You want to talk about him?
I mean, we can talk about him fucking putting Roman over, putting WWE over. It sounds to me like
there you go.
It sounds to me like Mr. Spirit Fingers himself is having some buyer's remorse on signing that AEW contract extension.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way, isn't it? I mean, he's starting to feel like, it seems like he maybe had a little come to Jesus moment when he got diverticulitis and was just like, oh shit, I might be done for a little. And that's now he's having the surgery. Obviously, I know he came out last week and they beat him up. The Elite beat him up. The new version of the Elite beat him up and sent him in an ambulance. Man, I don't know. He does kind of seem like he wishes that he was part of what's on fire right now in WWE.
And I feel like that's one of those things that, I mean, we might get to see it in this lifetime, right? Especially if Tony Khan drives a fucking bulldozer over fucking Daly's place and, just buries all Elite Wrestling. And, that we might have a WCW, NWO fucking type thing come about here in the next, 3 to 5 years, where, some talent gets paid to sit at home and some talent says, "Nah, man, fuck that. I'm gonna go work.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go work for the Evil Empire with the Prince, and we're gonna make beautiful, sweet music,
beautiful, sweet money." And at that point too, probably that'll sort of be Finn Balor's swan song there, right?
I mean, Finn just signed a pretty hefty extension. I believe it was like 5 or 6 years.
I think it was 5. They don't really do more than 5, but that's probably his last contract.
I mean, maybe.
By the time that's over, he'll be almost 50.
I mean, he's still a top guy.
He is a top guy, and man, doesn't look like he's aged since he showed up.
I mean, Irish folk, bro.
I know, it happens all of a sudden. He's gonna show up one day. We're like, holy shit, old man Balor, what's going on?
You know what I mean? Like we, us Irish.
Yeah, you guys don't age. You're even a little more Irish looking than he is. Truth be told.
Yeah, well, it's because I got little Viking in me too, and they kind of.
He's not quite as you got that red hue. I mean, I guess that's a little bit, Norwegian as well.
Yes, but anyway. Yes. Got a little bit of that red hue from both sides of that. But I think that it's really interesting to listen to Kenny Omega on his Twitch stream, kind of just speaking freely. And, he's like, hey man, like, a couple of nights ago, he's like, hey man, I don't want to hear anybody say a goddamn thing negative about Roman fucking Reigns.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's a big fucking deal. Like,
sure
that guy is doing, has accomplished what I wanted to accomplish when I was the AEW champion with all the belts. Like, he's doing what I wanted to do. And it just makes everything feel so much bigger and so much more important. And I've said that, especially like when Derek would come in here and complain about Roman not being on television, this, that, and the other. But the bloodline, the storytelling vehicle was there to make that still feel large. Unlike when Brock Lesnar was a part-time champion and he would show up and
there just wasn't a champion for 3 months 3 months at a time. Yeah.
They were able to plug some of those holes with the bloodline storytelling.
Well, a lot of that's Paul Heyman too, because AEW does not have Paul Heyman, who is the GOAT.
But Brock Lesnar had Paul Heyman, and we still felt like we had a fucking part-time champion. So let's just.
That's fair. It's fair.
But I do like reading the transcripts and seeing the video clips from the Twitch stream, my man definitely has some regrets.
Rightfully so. I don't know. It's tough because like I feel like he was allowed to book himself as champion, and he tried. He did his best, but like at the same time, like that wasn't his. That's not his deal, right? Like that.
Did you just tell me that he did his best?
Yeah, I did. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, like I mean, you came in here week after week after week after week after week.
Oh,
after
it's
week
not,
after week
buddy.
after
No,
week
no,
after
no, no,
week
hold
after
on,
week
hold
of Kenny Omega's title reign.
I think you got
shitting all over the guy.
I mean, because it was terrible.
And now all of a
was
sudden,
bad.
because he puts Roman Reigns over, you want to hand him a fucking bouquet of roses.
No, I don't want to hand him a bouquet of roses.
Like he just won the goddamn gold medal at fucking in figure skating at the Tokyo Dome.
I mean, maybe he could have done that actually. If you put it that way, he has the spirit fingers to do that. No, but I feel like Kenny Omega, when told what to do, has done things that didn't suck before. And I feel like we were sold that bill of goods, right? That Kenny Omega was going to get to be the best Kenny Omega that there ever was.
I mean, we all thought we were getting the best bout machine that put on fucking bangers, that put on bangers with Jericho, that fucking put on bangers with Okada, that put on bangers with fucking what's that other fucking dude's name? The other big time Japanese star. It's on the tip.
Takeshita had some good stuff too.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what fucking Naito.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we didn't get none of that.
No.
We got flashes of it.
But they were like real fast. It was like 30-second clips.
And like I didn't hate Kenny's title reign nearly as much as you did. I thought
it wasn't as bad as Hangman's, but it was bad.
I mean, I don't think that anything is going to be worse than Adam Hangman Page's initial title run. Hopefully, he gets a chance to, before they close the doors, to get to run that back as a heel.
Maybe he'll be the last one.
Yeah,
he'll be the last. Although he hasn't been around, I don't know when the last time he wrestled was, but it hasn't been on a card. So
it was at the pay-per-view.
Right, but like before that, like he wrestled.
Maybe it was at the last pay-per-view, not the Dynasty one. It might have been a Big Business.
Yeah, I think it was the one before.
I think he got hurt. Oh, shocking.
Guy doesn't wrestle, gets hurt when he wrestles 12 times a year. Gets hurt. It has to miss 6 times a year. I mean, it's. They have so much talent that just seems so wasted because they're not keeping they're not staying healthy. They got injured. Their injury list is the size of the non-injured list. It's like 50% of the talent's injured pretty much all the time.
Well, I mean, that's good for 50% of the talent because I mean, there's so much roster bloat going on over there that it's hard to fucking build any type of a semblance of a story.
But even with 50% of the roster hurt, they can't have guys build. Like there's no build pretty much. For the most part, some people like force the build. It seems like, but like the matches aren't booked for there to be a build. It's just like somebody comes out and like continuously harasses somebody else until they have a match on a pay-per-view. And it just doesn't. I don't know, man. It's a hard show to watch. You can't really step in and pick it up, but like being a long-term watcher doesn't benefit either. Like it's hard to step in and just watch and be like, I'm just going to turn this on and see what happens.
I actually prefer to just kind of drop in on it because I don't know what's happening anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And I just get to watch it through this lens of, oh, that was a good match. Oh, that was a good match. Oh, that was fun.
I mean, you get But you get 3 of those, and they have 10 matches in a 2-hour time span, and you get 2 or 3 matches are good, but the other 7 are, well, let's put it this way. 1 of them is probably excellent. 2 of them are fine, probably pretty good. The rest of them are like hard to watch. It's people doing stutter steps. Remember when Wheeler Yuta was the next big thing? Where's he been? Is he dead? He might be dead. Who cares?
He probably. I mean, he cuts his own hair.
I mean, and maybe he cut an artery. Um, John Moxley left and went to Japan. Nobody knew that, but then he came back as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and now that's really, really important. More important than Swerve. Swerve has tried his damnedest. I gotta hand it to Swerve, who has done everything right. Every opportunity he's been given, he's done. Like Swerve is one of those guys that's like that's making chicken salad out of chicken shit because that's all he's being given. But he's the champion. Joe did the same thing. I feel like Samoa Joe did the same thing. Like they gave Joe the championship, and Joe made chicken salad out of chicken shit because like they booked it stupid, but Joe was like, "All right, I'm just gonna do it," and he did it, and he got it over. And so that's been fine, and I feel like Swerve's been good, but like there's no reason that like nobody else has been good around Swerve. So I really don't know what like they're trying to do. Like, hey, we got our first black AEW champion. Like that's great. That's awesome. Like Swerve deserved it. Like he's great. He's great. He was the guy. Like it couldn't have been more obvious. I'm glad they saw how.
And he's been the only one that's had any like a semblance of story to tell, right? Like the shit with Hangman was phenomenal. You know, and then Hangman acted as a bridge between him and Samoa Joe, and then him and Samoa Joe. Like some of that stuff has been really, really fun. And then to finally get the payoff where Swerve gets to raise the championship, and then it's overshadowed by John Moxley going to Japan and winning the New Japan Championship.
Yeah. Like what the fuck? Like it's like John showed back up. He came back from Japan, but he had this shiny thing, and Tony was like shiny, and that's where we are. That's where AEW is, and it's awful. It's awful booking. It's lazy booking. I mean, we haven't even talked about like his, you know, him getting him becoming an on-screen personality yet. Maybe that's where we move to next. But like,
yeah, well, you just took my thunder on my segue.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like,
go ahead. What was your?
I can't segue now. You already did it.
So I just have to explain it awkwardly.
You already did. Like I had the whole Cocaine Tony thing lined up. Like, you know, like I was gonna snort the line. I was gonna fucking tell the story. Like I was gonna do the whole thing.
Do it.
Like you got to be patient, bro.
I'm sorry. I don't have any patience.
Like I promise, I'm gonna get us there.
That's why I'd be a bad doctor. Because I don't have any patience.
You can't be taking shortcuts whenever you're doing fucking diverticulitis surgery. Because then you end up with fucking Brock Lesnar at UFC fucking 126. He just gets fucking shut down. Whole fucking thing. So Tony Khan has been adamant that he would never be an on-screen character. But yet, here he is on screen every single week, whether it's on national television or the internet, it's still on screen, and he's still a character, and he's still out there looking like fucking Chacho Muchacho douchebago. You know, like pleading, you know, with the fans not to leave for the Ring of Honor tapings, and like, you know, oh my God, just love me. Just
please love me.
So
I'm saving wrestling.
You guys are the greatest fans in the history of great fans. Oh, blanket.
Do we want to talk about him calling WWE the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling?
I think that like all rolls into what we're about to talk about, right? Like, I mean, so he comes out and he gets fucking Meltzer drivered.
Sure does.
Okay, and I mean, kudos to the Young Bucks. They made it look good.
They did their best. The punch that he took looked terrible.
Oh yeah, that was god awful.
Jungle Boy punched him, and it was like he fell like he poked him with a pencil.
It's like you gotta know that you're in trouble when Jungle Boy Jack Perry is like your biggest push right now.
Yeah. Your biggest heel push.
And it's just because, like, the guy that's on the other show told the world exactly what he did, and then you showed the security footage, and it's like, what, you know who won here?
It was exactly what he said.
WWE won when that happened.
They were like, Punk said that. He was like, I just choked a guy a little bit. And like, but before that, like, Tony Khan had blown it out of proportion and been like, I was in fear for my life. Monitors were flying and blah, 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 blah. And then Punk laid it out and he's like, I didn't hit anybody. I just choked a guy a little bit. And then they're like, we're going to show the footage. AEW is going to show the footage. They've got the footage and they're going to show it. They're going to show all the footage and everything's going to be laid out. And it was exactly how Punk said it happened. Not only was it exactly how Punk said it happened,
like, you could have voiceovered Punk on Ariel Helwani over the footage.
They did. There's TikTok videos that did that.
Okay, and I have yet to see.
But point being, nobody was in danger at any point in time. It was a 5-second brawl that was immediately broken up by guys like Samoa Joe and like fucking Gangrel was back there. Why was Gangrel there? I don't know why Gangrel was there. But he walked through so was so Chris Hero was back there. But like, it was broken up like that. It was like, blah, blah. Nobody was hurt. Nothing was broken. Even Larry the dog was fine.
Hey, Larry the dog bit a guy. Allegedly.
Larry the dog.
Anyway, so we digressed because we did talk about this particular piece of business the last time that we did the show. I do remember that.
But it's pertinent.
Yeah, it's definitely pertinent, but we don't need to revisit it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
whatever.
You want to hear us revisit it? Just
we got time, my brother. We got
click
time.
back on a couple of shows. So then Tony Khan's out there. He takes a Meltzer driver, fucking worst punch ever. Kudos to the Bucks, make it look good, you know. And then kudos to Tony fucking Khan.
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
You say your piece because I think I have a completely different take. So
listen, I'm proud of him, you know, because he tried, right? Yeah. Like, he knew, so much so that the NFL made an official statement about Tony Khan taking this Meltzer driver and using like inside baseball terms in their press release, and then having to explain what those insider terms fucking meant in their press release, to in turn 2 days later show Tony Khan in the Jacksonville Jaguars war room with a neck collar on, drinking coffee like this, and looking all the way around.
Okay, good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. But you know what, Tom? He tried.
Did he?
And I commend him for trying.
Okay. So,
right? However, 30 minutes after he tries, you remember that this dude is like Tony fucking Montana in the fucking war room.
I didn't expect this. Go on.
We just had a great draft pick here in Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars just took the best available fucking player for our team. We are so very excited to have that. Did you know that fucking Rampage is on TBS every Friday night at 10 p.m.? Did you know that? Rampage is a fantastic wrestling show that we have at AEW, All Elite Wrestling, on the Turner Broadcast Network, family of networks, TNT and TBS. You can catch us on Wednesdays from 8 to 10, Fridays from 10 to 11, usually, unless we're preempted by something. We get preempted by everything every week, so I don't even know like what time the show goes on the air anymore, but it's on Friday at some point during the day, right? It's not live. We taped it like 3 weeks ago, and I don't fucking know what they're even going to air, but something's there. And then we go live on Friday or Saturdays on TBS, TNT, whatever, one of them fucking networks, for a Collision. Another fantastic 2 hours of all elite wrestling. Jam-packed. And like we're so good that like WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling. And I don't understand like what everybody's problem is with me. I just want to be pretty, okay? I just want you to can you just tell me that I'm pretty and that my show doesn't suck? Can you just be nice to me, please? Just this one time. All I'd really need is just a little bit of reassurance that everything's going to be okay, because I'm trying to like run this football team. I'm trying to run 2 wrestling promotions. I'm trying to run a soccer program. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to run a European football program that's like 700 million miles across the fucking ocean. All right. Do you know how far it is to England? Do you have any idea how long that flight is to England? However, all I'm trying to say is we just gotta just can somebody just tell me that I'm doing good? Huh? Can somebody tell me I'm doing good, please?
I'm glad you didn't have a stroke right there. But yeah, no, I don't even have anything to say.
Like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, he can't help himself. At this point, he can't help himself. He's getting smacked in the mouth every day.
They're
whether
making
it be
fun of it.
social media, whether it be YouTube viewership, whether it be ratings, whether it be in-building attendance, whether it be internet wrestling community, whether it be tribalism, whether it be NFL football, whether it be Ring of Honor, whether it be Fulham Soccer Club. He's just getting his fucking face kicked in every single fucking day. But he can't help himself. He's got to go out and throw shade at WWE.
Every time. Why are they like he's so mad at Vince? Who has divested him? Like Vince owns nothing anymore.
No, got rid of everything.
All of it.
Liquidated everything.
That's shady in and of itself.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. The
Weird.
internet
I'm
is a
not sure
buzz.
what's gonna happen with that. But as far as professional wrestling is concerned,
Especially with the new filing by the Supreme Court that like non-compete clauses are kind of bullshit, and like a bunch of chatter going on around that, and what's his relationship like with the Saudi Arabian prince, and like all these things.
Saudi Arabian prince doesn't care. You know this. You know he and the Saudi Arabian prince are friends.
Oh, they probably shit on some bitches together.
Absolutely. Are you the Saudi Arabian prince brings him bitches for him to shit on?
You come. I have 72 virgins for you to shit on.
Just go shit where you want, wherever.
No, you give me rock now.
Like
it's so racist. I'm so sorry.
This is the fucking blood money bull. Like I feel like this is like are we being racist against Germans when we're like we're more critical of the Nazis and we're like fucking like it's like, oh well, I played Wolfenstein like 3 times over. And I've played.
What a great game, by the way. Good callback.
Fantastic. Have you played the newest ones?
No, but I don't. Come on, man.
So good, so good. If you get a chance, if you're like laid up for some reason, you twist an ankle or something, knock them out. They're great. They're only like
if I twist an ankle or break a leg or tear an ACL, I'm going to work tomorrow, pal. Okay, like that's
what, are they
just
shoot you like a horse.
I mean, that's a possibility. Okay,
kind of.
I'm only as good as my last run. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you can't run if you break an ankle.
Well, I mean, I'm damn sure going to try, so that at least if they're going to put that bullet in my head, I went out on my shield, with
a broken ankle. Anywho, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, AEW. No man, it's just like anytime he gets like even the like a smidgen of good faith, right? A smidgen, a of good faith. Like Pat McAfee looked at a picture and went, "Good on Tony Khan for wearing the neck brace to the NFL draft." But then they played the video, and
and then Boston Connor fucking nailed him to the wall. Fucking running around. Look at this fucking idiot. Jeff fucking looked like D'Lo Brown out there.
He did. What the fuck? What? What happened? Why? Why would you? God, like just you don't even sell well. Like, and that's the other thing is like he didn't sell anything well. Like the Bucks moved him in the position in which it was the best. He took that punch terribly and lay there as though he'd been killed. I just Tony shouldn't be an on-screen talent. He should not be. I am not sure what's happening in AEW, but
Neither are they, bub. So
neither are
like,
they.
hey,
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. But neither are they. And it's like it's hard to watch, and it's hard to watch when this is what's happening everywhere. And I know it's like, it's cool to hate on AEW now, Uncle Dave. It's like it's not cool. Look, it's always been kind of bad, but like Tony paid for it to be in front of us. Like TNA is generally kind of better with a worse roster.
So can I interrupt you?
Yes,
Because I
please.
think that this is super relevant to what we're talking about, right? And it might give us another avenue to explore. So, on the old Book of Faces, I follow a ton of wrestling news outlets, which are really just a bunch of chooches like you and I that have an opinion about things, right? That kind of fact check themselves before they put it out to the masses, kind of like us, right? And this particular page is like one of the most tribalistic AEW pages that I follow. This is what it says. There's a screenshot, a screen capture of a Wikipedia page of Mercedes Moné. Okay. Now, let me finish. Okay. I want you to digest everything I got. All right. Mercedes Moné's AEW contract is reportedly over $10 million a year for 3 to 5 years with an opt-out option going into the third year. This makes her the highest paid women's wrestler in history.
Mm-hmm.
Some will say Tony overpaid her. Truth be told, she's worth every penny. So this is the Wikipedia thing. So, has AEW ever cooled off a new signing faster than they've cooled off Mercedes Moné? I was looking at AEW's YouTube page, and Mercedes' video where she was attacked by a mystery person is currently the second least viewed from a recent episode of Dynamite. After one day, it's only garnered 55,000 views, with only Tony Storm's Champagne Toast to Thunder Rosa lower at 52K. Okada vs. Jobber is more than double the views at 132K. Ospreay's promo is at 141K. Mariah May versus Anna Jays is at 80K or 81K. Swerve ambushing Joe is 84. The Cope Open 226. The Bucks all-in footage 265. Jericho and Hook's six-man tag 79K. All right. There's a gang of questions here, and I'm going to ask you these questions. How did it get to this point?
With Mercedes, okay, so Sasha Banks as a talent is great in the ring, but she's great in kind of ratchet like type drama. Like it's kind of like she almost has to be like like very like kind of mean girl sort of era, whether she's the good guy in the scenario or the bad guy. Like that's where she needs to be. They've not done that. They've paraded her out by herself against Tony Storm, who is clearly like her gimmick is that she's like somewhere else. She's in a different era. She's in a different time. Tony Storm is operating back in 1950, and that's Mercedes. Like Sasha Banks is not there to do that.
And I think that that is also kind of what you just said lends credence to what we said, where those the creative kind are getting fed right now,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Tony Storm being one of them. Swerve Strickland, another creative kind, getting fed right now, right? And that's really those two anchoring the show from a quote unquote creative standpoint.
It really is, because theirs is the only stuff that makes any sense.
I mean, based on what I see on the internet, I've not watched the show in a few weeks, but
I mean, I've watched.
I keep up.
Recently.
I keep up.
I watch. I'd say I probably watch one show a month at least, but probably two.
So the next question is, should this potential $50 million investment be outviewed by Okada versus a jobber?
At this point, I feel like Okada's a bigger investment. If I'm not, so if rumors are true, let's preface this. If rumors are true, Okada is a bigger investment. He's more of $150 investment, $150 million investment. Should it be outviewed? I mean, probably only because she has not wrestled, and Okada wrestling is really what. So I would say that
she's wrestled. Isn't she the TBS champion now?
No, she is not. No, is she? No, Willow's the TBS.
Okay.
Champion. She just keeps coming out and talking shit during Willow's matches.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched that. I saw that. Not on the show live. Like
I mean, she's had 73 outfit changes. I know that.
And she does the dance.
So I would agree that Okada is probably the bigger investment, but still Okada versus a job guy, should that be more relevant to
than her like pushing some semblance of storyline? Should it be? No, it shouldn't be, because Okada also shouldn't necessarily be fighting jobbers.
Like, yeah, but how much of that is to make the American audience familiar with who he is?
I mean, that's probably what it is, and that's the like,
which would make sense, which explains to me why it's probably not what's happening,
right?
Because that makes perfect logical sense. I mean, unless somebody with a brain is all of a sudden behind the scenes, because it's certainly not Danielson, because his got mishmashed into the fucking mat a few weeks ago, and it's in there fucking.
We haven't heard from him or seen him since that happened either.
All I heard was that he's taking an extended leave of absence
because his head hurts.
I'm sure the fuck it does.
Because it's jelly. It's jelly. And he told Tony, don't call me, don't text me, I'll call you. Yeah, man.
And then what about Jericho leeching off a hook, having more views?
That's kind of even more egregious to me, because that's just like that has this like rage bait view. I think like that to me is the closest thing to rage bait as AEW has been, and
this goes on to say people actively avoid Jericho because of how omnipresent he is on television, and even his clips are more viewed than Mercedes Moné.
I mean, Jericho has go away heat at this point, but unfortunately, in the age of the internet, go away heat equals rage bait. So, hey, here's a clip of Chris Jericho. Fuck this guy. Let me watch this so that I can learn why I hate him, so that I can update my list of hate.
And clearly, she's not a promo, right? Like she
never has been.
But we're trotting her out there every week to promo
because she's not clear to wrestle.
Still not clear to wrestle.
She's still not clear to wrestle. You're right, because he spent $50 million on her, allegedly. Even
privately held company, where we're not necessarily privy to those details. But
even if he spent $10 million, let's say he spent 10, fuck 5. Let's say they add an extra 0. He spent $5 million. She's not cleared to wrestle.
This is spelled out 10 million, like on the Wikipedia thing. It's not a numerical. It's spelled out 10
like
million.
50, because 50 is what you said.
Right, but 10 million a year.
A year. Okay, so at least 10. So 10, and then there's an option. So up to 50, but at least 10. Okay, so let's say there's two options in there. Let's say there's a 1 year option. She makes 10 mil guaranteed. That's more money than she's made in her whole career.
Guaranteed.
Like
ATM Tony Khan.
Yeah, that's more money than she's made in her whole career.
Mercedes. Do you know how much fucking cocaine I could buy right now with $10 million? Do you understand how much fucking cocaine, sweet, crystal pure Colombian Bam Bam I could buy?
Colombian Bam Bam.
You better get out there and cut me a fucking promo, girl.
So I would guess that she's going to go out there and cut shitty promos for a whole year.
Until Double or Nothing?
She'll wrestle a match or two.
Kind of like Paige?
Exactly. And then maybe her contract will probably be up by then, and she'll take the option to not renew it. Because there's probably an option for her. That's probably what the year one option is. It's probably for her, which is why Tony's got later.
What's the third year? The option is so it's after 2 years. They're
Well, then and you know what? She might just sit at home for a year and make $10 million.
Man, you know, Tony got just a little bit of tennis elbow going on here. You know, I'm gonna need a couple of weeks. How many? I don't know. Maybe like 51, 52. It's real bad.
It's like really especially in the morning when I wake up, because that's the arm I sleep on.
Yeah, you know, and it hurts from counting all of this money.
Yeah, I get it in ones, so it takes a long time. That's why I wasn't there last Saturday. I was busy going 1. Oh fuck, I lost count. 1, 2, like. I mean, you know, she certainly seems to me to be kind of like the person who would take a money mark for everything he's worth. And honestly, that makes me love her even more.
And then take her ball and go home.
Yeah, absolutely. She's totally going to take her ball and go home at some point.
I mean, she's 1,000% going to take her ball and go home. She's going to get her 20 mil. All right. And she's going to be like, fuck this clown show. All right.
She's probably already there.
Out of here.
Like, we're what, 5-ish months in?
I don't even think it's that long, bro.
Okay. Well, let's say 3. She's had to go 4 places. 5, maybe.
622 days left on this contract. Good God, man.
I mean, it's I mean, I feel like we're finally hitting the, like, you know, because everybody made the joke about Tony Khan being the money mark, right? But I feel like we finally sort of hit the level where it's like, oh man, here's the list of people who have taken advantage of him, and Mercedes Moné right now is number 1 on that list.
It's because he's grinding the boss's daughter, bruv.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. We gotta shift gears here. Like AEW is in shambles. I hope
it's not even going to exist next year.
I still hope that they are able to pull the nose up, because I think that the wrestling world is better because of them.
For sure.
But my God, is it not good? Not good at all. So hopefully they figure something out over there on the Warner Brothers Discovery side of the coin.
The Turner Networks.
And like not lose any more streaming deals with Fight and DAZN and a bunch of chooches overseas. You know, because I mean that distribution is important, and you know, places do exist without streaming distribution, but they're not making a whole lot of money. So, you know, let's just maybe kind of prioritize some things. How fucking great of a show was Backlash?
I loved it. It was it was kind of short and to the point.
What a phenomenally produced piece of business after WrestleMania.
It felt so neat. Like it fit in such a neat little package. And the fact that it was in France, like, okay, so on Friday I texted you. I'm like, this French crowd is weird because like they chant like it's a soccer game when they sing, which is fun, but it's like it's immediately disjointed, right? Like you're immediately like, what's happening right now? Like it's immediately disjointed because the wrestlers react to it and they're just like, what the hell? But then
I loved everything about the crowd this weekend.
I was a little bit like, what the hell? Initially, like on Friday, but like it seemed by like Saturday, like the crowd was still the same, but like the wrestlers and I was like, okay, I understand. Like I feel like I kind of walked into it on Friday, like not thinking about it.
Oh yeah, dig it. Oh yeah.
Oh, they're sick.
They're on their way.
Oh, good for you. But like I don't know, man. Like by Saturday, it was just like it all fell into place.
Oh yeah,
did you spend like $400 on sneakers? Like
I bought 3 pairs of sneakers yesterday.
Okay, that was like in the last. So you spent like $400 on sneakers yesterday, huh?
I mean, it wasn't quite that much. I bargain shopped.
Fair enough. Good for you. Anyway, I need some new sneakers. It's been a while. Where was I on this? Oh, yeah. So the French crowd was weird initially, but then like once I figured it out, and once they started once production, especially, I feel like that's what happened on Saturday. Is production leaned into the crowd, especially like we were talking about earlier, the Jey Uso thing, because they were just, God, that was cool. Wow, was that cool? So like it was a really once I knew to look for it and like be attuned to it, what a great experience. And I think WWE, I'm sure, came out of that going, we're coming back to Europe maybe twice a year now instead of just once. This seems good for TV. So I wouldn't be shocked to see something in September or October in Europe either. 6-ish months from now, I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I think that 6 out of the next 8 are all international shows.
I mean, truth be told, I don't really want to go to WWE shows live. If I'm being completely honest, I'd much rather watch them on TV because 1, they're produced incredibly well as TV shows, and 2,
always have been, but it's better now.
Right, but 2, being there live is not that great.
I'm wondering if that whole vibe changed now that some things have happened. Like we talked about this a couple of shows ago, which has probably been like 6 to 8 weeks ago that we talked about this. It's like I can't wait to go to a show because I want to see if that vibe's any different in the arena.
I mean, I guess we'll find out. We could find out. But holy shit, it's producing phenomenal television.
Slams at the Mistake on the Lake.
It really is. Shit. Yeah, let's see what them tickets look. Let's see what them tickies look like. I'm going to Disney World next week, so I'm going to be.
Friend of the show, Pat Martin, would like to go as well.
To Disney World or to SummerSlam?
To SummerSlam.
I know. I figured. Okay. I mean, let's go with Pat. That sounds like a good time. See, now you're
blessed.
Now you're just teasing me with a good time. You're like, well, Pat Martin would go.
I'm gonna have to snip this and send it to him because he's not here this week.
Well, you're just teasing me with a good time. Like, Pat Martin wants to go. Like, oh shit, really?
Actually, it was his idea.
So here's the other thing: is that I actually do like Cleveland as a city.
No, it's a dope little city.
It's like the food in Cleveland is phenomenal. It's so good.
They deserve to have a Super Bowl champion.
They do. And the food in Cleveland is great. The people kind of suck. They're weird.
Well, I mean, so are Pittsburghers.
Yeah.
kind of cut from the same cloth, but
We
not
don't really
really.
talk to ourselves though as we wander down the streets of downtown because that's what happened. I've seen a lot of that in Cleveland.
Hey, have you ever been to Austin, Texas?
No,
What a
that
dope.
that's like? What a dope city. You saying it's a dope area? You froze, buddy, by the way. I don't think I'm froze. Maybe I'm froze. Maybe it's me. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. It's tea time. Everybody agrees. Texting you. Is it me or you? Walter. Okay, I texted Walter. I haven't been kicked out yet, so I'm pretty sure it's him. Wonder if we're still live. Oh, we're still live. It's counting. Yeah, it's not me. It's Walter. Oh, Walt's gone. It's just me now. Man. Oh, his computer shut off. All right, he's coming back. Doing his best, people. Here we are. He's doing his best. Everything shut down. Got too hot down there. Got way too hot. So hot. It's because Walter is a hot, sexy man. Creates heatness for his computer. But yeah, SummerSlam is in the Mistake on the Lake. All right, so maybe I'm going to Cleveland for SummerSlam. SummerSlam in Cleveland. Actually, Cleveland sounds fun. Oh, it might even be the same week as the National Yo-Yo Contest. Or no, the World Yo-Yo Contest. Oh, is it the same week? Oh my God, it might be the same week. Okay, have to double check this because it might be the same week. Okay, World Yo-Yo Contest. I like yo-yos. Here's some yo-yos. Is in Cleveland this year because the guy who runs the competition lives in Cleveland and it's just easier for him. And I like Steve a lot. So shout out to Steve Brown, who is quite frankly one of the coolest grumpy dudes I've ever met in my life. But he's definitely a cool guy. Anyway, so World Yo-Yo Contest is in Cleveland, Ohio this year. And so is SummerSlam. And I got to look and see if they're the same days because maybe we'll be going to watch Yo-Yo and SummerSlam. That's going to be an expensive weekend. Oh my God. Can I go to Disney World and the Yo-Yo Contest and SummerSlam all in the same year? That's a pretty epic year, honestly. It's a pretty epic year. Wow. SummerSlam in Cleveland. I think we had to close this show up once Walt gets back because this seems like quite a long time to get this thing to boot back up. I think he's booting up Windows 95. Windows 95. Back in 1995. Friends Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston showed us how to work Windows 95 just as a whole. It was weird. It was on VHS. That's how old I am. It was on VHS. And it was learn how to use Windows 95 with a cast of friends. It was weird. It's a weird thing. Came in a nice big hooby doob there. Came in like one of those like Disney packages, and it was had people on there. Kind of crazy stuff, if I'm being honest. Man, all right, I'm gonna give Walt another 2 minutes. If he ain't here, I don't know what we're gonna do. We might have to close it out. I might have to just do the whole close of the show by myself. So I guess we'll see what's going on here. So what's going on in wrestling right now? Here's the Judgment Day. Oh, Carlito is like, hey guys, I'm a coward, and let me hang out with Dom, who's got a great mustache and isn't gonna wrestle anymore right now. And Finn's like, what is this guy's friggin' problem? Balor's tattoos look awesome, by the way. From Balor from being a guy who didn't have tattoos and now he's got tattoos, and JD's like, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. He'll come around. Don't worry. Oh, he's back. Okay, good. You had another minute.
Yeah, I'm here, but as you can see, I'm having some.
You're three little dots. Three little dots.
I'm having some technical issues here.
We got Bronson Reed, who is big. Bronson Reed. All right, so let's just close it. Do we have anything else to talk about, or should we just close it up?
I mean, we probably just have to call it a day here, pal. We were going to talk about Backlash, which I think was we touched on a lot of the high points.
I thought it was great. Great show.
It was definitely a good show. And very well done, and very much looking forward to what's going to be happening here in the coming weeks, leading into the next pay-per-view that we've got coming along here. So. Yep,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not reading my camera. I'm fucking over it.
All right. So do you want to do match? We don't have to do that. Match of the week was clearly just Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
without a shadow of doubt. I appreciated the AJ Styles purple ring gear, which is a callback to when he defended the NWA Championship against Dusty Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
He was wearing purple gear in that match. I thought that was fucking sweet. And not to mention the purple and black just fucking looked really, really goddamn sharp. So
I thought everything about that was great. No shade from me. I thought it was tremendous. What a great show, capped off by a great man. It was nice and tight, and everybody looked good. Everything felt good. As far as the production of the show was concerned, I know, like you said, Tonga Loa missed his cue, but we didn't know that watching live. They only figured that out. Only the guy in the front row figured that out. So, hey, good on them. Good on WWE, good on the production value, because clearly, they're there to catch everybody, get everybody's back, and kind of massage the best show possible out of the show, and I think we got that. So I don't think it really could have been much better. But anyway, go work on your technical issues. Have a lovely night. Go ahead and close us out.
We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm not gonna go through my whole shtick here because you can't see my ugly schmush. So if you're here, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate you. I did just put thumbs up like you could see me. Thanks, appreciate you. Yeah. So we'll check you out next week. Thanks for hanging out. It's all love. One Fall WrestleCast.